Yeah. At the outset, I want to welcome the Minister and acknowledge the fact that his presence is an indication of how seriously he is taking this issue. I want to congratulate my colleagues in the Green Party for bringing forward the motion, and it's a worthy motion and a worthy debate that we should have. The Antarctic treaty system effectively allows for peaceful cooperation between countries rather than, and no specific country precisely owning the Antarctic, but having stations there, being involved in research there, nuclear testing, scientific research, and preserving its biodiversity, and research and work there that will improve humankind, if you like. So, and there is an interest in accession to the Antarctic treaty system, and I would be interested in the Minister's response to hear where precisely we are at there and how he views the future in regard to that. Irish scientists participated in the recent international polar years experimentation, etc., in 2007, 2009, and that was a positive Irish involvement, and that's good. It basically it's a wonderful treaty to the extent that national conflicts have remained in abeyance under the Atlantic Treaty, and every national territory, as I said earlier, has stations, but they're not in an ownership situation. So that's important. It allows for it to protect the intrinsic geography, the climate, the wildlife, the ecosystems in Antarctica, and that's important. And I'd be interested, I gather Minister might elaborate on that Ireland has sought to join the Arctic Council in observer status because of our neutrality position, and the Minister might elaborate on that and maybe make us aware of what's happening there. So it was initially, the treaty was made by 12 countries. So it's extremely important that we would be part of it. I might make reference, the reference has been made a lot, and indeed my very distinguished colleague, Senator Vincent P. Martin, gave a learned exposition on the question of explorers there, and specifically on Ernest Shackleton. I actually had the privilege of meeting the Shackleton family on one occasion, and they have interests in very close to my home area too. Senator Martin is probably aware of that they have family interests in the North Meads area as well. And there's a family tradition there, and of course I think there are some of the Crean family still around too. But and Tom Crean is obviously a very celebrated explorer there too. So Ireland has a very interesting tradition of exploration there too. I think 2022 will mark the centenary of the death of Ernest Shackleton in the Antarctic island of South Georgia, where he is also buried. And he was Ireland's pre-eminent Antarctic person and a leading global ambassador. Shackleton's international comrades decreed that he was, from the crown of his head to the sole of his foot, an Irishman. He has all the best characteristics of the Irish race. End of quote. So it's an interesting and worthwhile motion. It's very important that we preserve Antarctica, that we preserve its biodiversity, its ecosystems, that we preserve it also in its unspoiled condition, and that we make sure that it is not a victim of global warming. And there have been some alarming reports from there and alarming evidence on our television screens, and we don't welcome that, and it's our job, and we're certainly committed in Ireland to the climate change agenda now, and to making sure that we preserve Antarctica and that we preserve our planet to the largest possible degree. And while Ireland can't do it alone, we will have a moral leadership role, and we will, by our actions, be fit to make the case strongly. So I personally believe that we should go on seeking the observer status at the Arctic Council. I believe that we should look at accession to the treaty, and I'm basically interested in the Minister's response there, and I think the Green Party have done a good day's work, and it doesn't merit further elaboration. I think also the time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.